Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I am in the process of making some herringbone things to share with you and to do a how-to. And I'm about to end my thread. So I thought, hey, I'm about to use up my thread. This stitch really eats thread quickly, by the way, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But I do not like to waste thread. You know why? Because I find it more fun to buy beads than to buy thread. So I will work my thread down to, I have room for another stitch or two. This is the twisty one, so I'm not doing step ups. I'm just going round and round in a circle. But the reason it's what one of the aspects or one of the characteristics of this stitch is it's kind of hard to see where you left off. So now I have, see how I've about just enough, a little bit more thread length than my needle length. I'm going to end my thread there, but because when you look at the end of this, it's not all that easy to tell where you left off. So what I'll do is I will first do introduce my new thread, and then I will end off the old thread. The nice thing about tubes is that they hide things like knots. This is a roll it off the end of your finger, get it into a big wad, twist it, pinch and pull, and look, you got a big old herkin knot. This knot will not go through the relatively big holes in these beads. Now, I want to reemerge here to start working with this new thread at this spot. So I will actually come into the work maybe down here, a few stitches back, make sure my knot is nested in there. And just in case my thread does pull out or my knot isn't sufficient, I will do a half hitch knot, and I will do that around the bead, in between the beads. I have to kind of watch that thread and make sure it sandwiches itself between beads. And because I'm using doubled thread, I'm making sure that both threads are tightening up there. So here, again, I have to tighten this up a bit. And there's that lovely little, that's the secret to my tight work and my tight bead work right there. Uh, pinching the work between the thumb and forefinger, pinching the thread between the forefinger and the middle finger. Why? Because it's structurally sound that way. And when I do this, I'm tying my old thread to my new thread. In fact, I can tie my old thread to my new thread down here in between the beads. See that thread path? I need to tighten that sucker up. But yeah, once I have it in between that, I can make that half hitch knot, sandwich it between the beads, and I'm coming out where I left off. And boom, I'm ready to go. I will take the old thread just because it's tied to the new thread. That's nice. Ooh, but look at that. My knot poked out. So maybe, oh, I don't like that. Maybe I will have to take it and, well, I can do one of two things. I can poke it inside and hope for the best and hope it doesn't poke out again. I think I got it. Yeah, I think it'll be okay. But I will also anchor my old thread to itself so that even if I was to be in a position where I had to cut the knot off, which for flat work I will do that, I'll have to cut the knot off, right? Because you want to see, if you want to see both sides of it, you have to, and see how I'm doing half hitch knots, go through a couple beads, do a half hitch knot, and I'm backing the needle through the loop because I'm running out of room to do that. Um, yeah, when I do this, I can cut off the knot and be assured that my work will stay intact. Luckily, see how this isn't quite long enough, the thread? Luckily, these beads are a little bit flexible, so I can pull it back through. So what I'll do is I'll trim this as close as I can. I will put my needle on my little magnet tray and I'll put this thread in my little cozy cab. I looked these guys up on the internet. They still exist with the same phone number. So this ashtray dates back to the mid 1960s, and they're still going. So hey, this is not sponsored by Cozy Cab. I just happened to find this at a thrift store in Olympia, where I live, Olympia, Washington, and somehow it ended up. I thought it was kind of cute. I thought it was useful. And yeah, so if you're in Newport, Rhode Island, and you need an Uber, call Cozy Cab instead. What can I say? So back to the beads, I will, let's see. Yeah, I'll keep going. And I will do a few more stitches. I wanted to mainly, again, this knot is trying to intrude. Let's see if I can hide it. I think I can. Yeah. And I'll do a couple more stitches. And let's see. Just so you know, the reason I brought these other beads out is so I can show you that you can do other things with this. So I will purposely twist it to show you that it's twisting, but it is actually twisting. If I can straighten it out, but ultimately the general shape of this will be a twist. It does twist, I swear. So yeah, that's twisting. That's not. The nice thing about the one that you have to use to do the step up on is that the advantage to that is design possibilities. You can switch beads. The wonderful thing about herringbone stitch is that it's so adaptable that you can introduce beads of different sizes and get away with it. And peyote stitch, you can do that too. It's just can be a little more difficult. This, I can just go to the next size if I want. These are slightly different sizes. I just thought, okay, I will switch to a nearby size. What I'll do often with herringbone is I will start with one smaller size. I'll go up to the very next size, very next size, very next size, and then I'll bring it back down. Very next smaller size, very next smaller size. So you can really play with design with this. It's easier to do that, a lot easier to do that, size changes, those size changes if you do the step up version that says where the work stays straight. If you do the twisty version, it's a little trickier, but try both because, hey, it's only beads. You can screw up. What I always tell people, especially my students, is that it's not brain surgery. Your beads are not going to die on the operating table if you screw up. So, and also mistakes are opportunities, fun opportunities. As one of my students once said, a mistake repeated is a new stitch. So try it. Hope you like it. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.